Hi, it's Miss Dusk again, and I have another story for you. This is another one of my favorite books from when I was a kid. It is called There's No Such Thing as a Dragon. It was written and illustrated, so the words and the pictures were done by Jack Kent. Let's begin. Billy Bixby was rather surprised when he woke up one morning and found a dragon in his room. It was a small dragon, about the size of a kitten. The dragon wagged its tail happily when Billy patted it on the head. Billy went downstairs to tell his mother. "There's no such thing as a dragon," said Billy's mother, and she said it like she meant it. Billy went back to his room and began to dress. The dragon came close to Billy and wagged its tail, but Billy didn't pat it. If there's no such thing as something, it's silly to pat it on the head. Billy washed his face and hands and went down to breakfast. The dragon went along. It was bigger now, almost the size of a dog. Billy sat down at the table. The dragon sat on the table. This sort of thing was not usually permitted, but there wasn't much Billy's mother could do about it. She had already said there was no such thing as a dragon, and if there's no such thing, you can't tell it to get down off the table. Mother made some pancakes for Billy, but the dragon ate them all. Mother made some more, but the dragon ate those too. Mother kept making pancakes until she ran out of batter. Billy only got one of them, but he said that's all he wanted anyway. Billy went upstairs to brush his teeth. Mother started cleaning the table. The dragon, who was quite as big as Mother by this time, made itself comfortable on the hall rug and went to sleep. By the time Billy came back downstairs, the dragon had grown so much it filled the hall. Billy had to go around by way of the living room to get to where his mother was. "I didn't know dragons grew so fast," said Billy. "There's no such thing as a dragon," his mother said firmly. Cleaning the downstairs took Mother all morning. What with the dragon in the way and having to climb in and out of the windows to get from room to room. By noon, the dragon filled the house. Its head hung out the front door, its tail hung out the back door, and there wasn't a room in the house that didn't have some part of the dragon in it. When the dragon woke up from its nap, it was hungry. A bakery truck went by. The smell of the fresh bread was more than the dragon could resist. The dragon ran down the street after the bakery truck. The house went along, of course, like the shell on a snail. The mailman was just coming down the path with some mail for the Bixbys when their house rushed past him and headed down the street. He chased the Bixbys' house for a few blocks, but he couldn't catch it. When Mr. Bixby came home for lunch, the first thing he noticed was that the house was gone. Luckily, one of the neighbors was able to tell him which way it went. Mr. Bixby got in his car and went looking for the house. He studied all the houses as he drove along. Finally, he saw one that looked familiar. Billy and Mrs. Bixby were waving from an upstairs window. Mr. Bixby climbed over the dragon's head, onto the porch roof, and through the upstairs window. "How did this happen?" Mr. Bixby asked. "It was the dragon," said Billy. "There's no such thing," his mother started to say. "There is a dragon," said Billy. "A very big dragon," and Billy patted the dragon on the head. The dragon wagged its tail happily. Then, even faster than it had grown, the dragon started getting smaller. Soon, it was kitten size again. "I don't mind dragons this size," said Mother. "Why did it have to grow so big?" "I'm not sure," said Billy, "but I think it just wanted to be noticed." The end. All right. I have an activity. If you have some paper and a pen or pencil, what I did is an acrostic name poem. So an acrostic name poem is just when you spell out the name of something, and here we have dragon, and you go down, and then you think of a word or an adjective that describes that creature that starts with each letter. So for dragon, I did D, dangerous, R, rare, A, armored, G, gigantic, O, orange, because in our story he was orange, and N, noble, because there's a lot of stories about dragons with kings and queens and knights. You could also pick an animal, like I did cat right here. I did cute, adventurous, and troublesome. Or you could do your name, and some of you might have done this before. Dusk, I did dependable, understanding, silly, and kind. So if you have time and you need something to do, you could do an animal that you like. You could try dragon from our story, or you could do your name or somebody that you love's name. Whoops. I hope you guys have a great weekend. We will hopefully be getting back to normal in a few weeks. Anyway, I'll be happy to see you guys soon. Bye.